Ken, if you could try to move that a little more to the northwest north, I think that's looking like due west. But that's our Ford Skycam network getting hammered with rain in Sullivan. That signature continues to look like it's strengthening. Did you see how quickly this happened? I mean, earlier we're telling Sullivan, like, hey, straight line winds, weak rotation, the backside, and all of a sudden this thing just flared up. And you can see it in that bright green right there. The red matters too, but the bright green, just notice how there's nothing and all of a sudden, boom, flares up. Northwest side of town, potential tornado. It's all in an already tornado warned area. Then we have this one near Cuba and Steelville. Let me slow things down so I can see and kind of assess. There's a little area of rotation that's gotten closer and closer to Cuba. So that's why your sirens have gone off. So it's kind of right here, south side of Cuba, north side of Steelville. We're zoomed into Crawford County, down Interstate 44. This is 44 right here. There's St. James. There's Rolla that had roof damage from a tornado earlier. You're in the clear now. So here in Crawford County, not in the clear, Cuba, Steelville, and especially south of Cuba, north of Steelville, be in your tornado shelter. It's not the strongest signature I've ever seen, but it's definitely a signature of a possible tornado. I want you to stay safe from that. I'm going to switch back over to the reflectivity here and see if I can catch the hook. Yeah, there's the hook right there. So this is south of Cuba, north of Steelville. The reason there's this little gap right there, let me stop the radar. The reason there's this little gap right there is because the air flowing up into the storm right here isn't allowing rain to come down. And that air is flowing up and rotating. And so if you have a tornado, it's going to be right about here. And that'll ride up, man, if you're in the south side of Sullivan, you need to watch this. So even though on the northwest side of Sullivan, we have that tornado warning, and it's still there. Now it's the north side. It's not the northwest. It's more of the north side now. But there's that. I need you to keep an eye on this storm as well for the south side in about 14 minutes, okay? So there's one on the north side of Sullivan right here. And then here's a second one, a little weaker signature, not as tight, 14 minutes on the south side. But how quickly did that flare up? Let's be cautious. If you hear me say it's weaker, it's still something I'm tracking, it's still something I'm watching, and it could still intensify rather rapidly. And that is a stronger signature on the north side of Sullivan there.
We've had some 1-inch hail in
Kent's got some new information. Go ahead, Kent.
1-inch hail in Crawford County near Rosati.
Okay.
So
we're getting hail with it too.
Yeah, we're getting plenty of hail.
Yeah. And we're getting some more damage reports coming in. So Samantha Jones, Corey Stark at the anchor desk have some new information on that. Go ahead,
let's get you an update here on the power outages. Ameren, Missouri reporting a total of about 36,000 people without power. Jefferson County, you're looking at about 5,000. St. Charles County, more than 3,000.
St. Charles City at 3,000. St. Charles County, 14,000. That's where we've seen most of the power outages so far here on the Missouri side. Madison County, over 1,000 folks without power. But we also want to get things to our Caroline Hecker, who is down in the Lee May area of South St. Louis County. Caroline, what are you seeing there?
We are on the scene of what I know we've seen a lot of this evening, which is these house fires that these crews are battling. I'm told right now across St. Louis County they are battling more than 30 fires. Many of those are home fires. We're here in Lee May. This is a 2-story vacant home that caught fire, and the biggest issue I'm being told right now is with those winds, making sure that the fire does not spread to neighboring homes. Thankfully, I know it's hard to see here with all the emergency vehicles, but this home is situated away from its neighboring homes. That's the good news. They have it under control, but again, the wind is making it very difficult for firefighters, and I'm told very dangerous because those winds can shift so quickly and shoot that fire toward those first responders. So it's something we're monitoring. It's something, of course, that we're seeing across St. Louis County right now as we wait for the brunt of this storm to move through. We're going to speak with some fire officials here in a moment to see how much they've been battling down here in South St. Louis County, but this situation in Lee May is under control. Thankfully, firefighters able to prevent this fire from spreading. Guys.
All right, Caroline, we'll check back in here with you soon. Let's get you back over to Steve for a look at these storm tracks.
Thank you very much, guys. All right, so we've big picture here. We've got this line of thunderstorms with a bunch of warnings. If I haven't been mentioning your town, it's because you might have severe thunderstorm warnings going on, but either it's not a higher end one that Kristen or Kent will draw my attention to, or it's not a tornado warning, which is what's all in these red boxes to the west. I'm going to zoom in and find all those small rotations. Before I do, let me do this. Let me get rid of the boxes, and let's just get an idea of when this might be getting downstream into St. Louis Metro and farther to the west, moving to the east or to the northeast at about 55 to 60 miles an hour. So this would be in Eureka in about 18 minutes. The very edge of this would be about 45 minutes, if that helps you out. So you're talking 45 minutes into the city. Here's some others. Wentzville in 15 minutes, O'Fallon in 22 minutes, Festus in 35 minutes. Now, let's get rid of that and get those warnings back on there and dig into where we're seeing the potential for tornadoes. Go ahead, Kristen.
Just wanted to point out something that Kevin has just mentioned at our local weather service office, and I know that this will be, you'll be interested to see this since this is what you're talking about right now. He's mentioning the very tight rotation near Stanton specifically, saying that this could drop a tornado at any moment. Okay. And then a second really tight rotation signature moving just north of New Haven. Same thing there, could drop a tornado at any moment.
Okay. So we've got one in Stanton. That's going to be the one that was north of Sullivan. And then the one that was headed towards New Haven, I think we mentioned that like 23 minutes ago. Let me switch over to the kind of Christmas tree colors, and I can see them right there. It's very obvious. I'll highlight them for you. This is the one that was north of Sullivan, and we're hearing from the Weather Service, this is such a strong signature, it could drop a tornado at any moment. And then here's another tight signature right over New Haven. That's northwestern Franklin County. So those are our two strongest areas of rotation. You're looking at the Ford Skycam network from Sullivan right now. Cloudy skies, dark, obviously, but sometimes when that lightning lights up and we're looking to the north, we're going to continue to have to move that camera to the northeast. Kent's nodding. He's like, I got it. Of course you do. Thank you, Kent. I appreciate it. And we'll just kind of continue to monitor it. If the lightning lights up, maybe we can see a little of that rotation that's out near Stanton.
West of New Haven on the radar now.
There it is. It's tiny. Let me go back and forth here and see if I got anything in Stanton. I don't.
It's also putting out 1¼ inch hail.
Okay. Right here, see that little tiny dot? I know it's not much, but when you couple it up with everything we're seeing and the tornado signature over New Haven, that's debris. New Haven, Missouri, northwestern Franklin County, debris tracker showing tornado in the air. Tornado lofting debris in the air. It's actually just northwest of New Haven. Now that I'm zooming in, we switch over to the, yes. Okay, so this is going to head right towards Pinckney. If you're in Marthasville, this is going to miss you. If you're in Warrenton, boy, you want to watch this one closely, although I think it may, as I look at the trajectory, it may just go, no, it's going to be close call. Let me just give you a heads up. Warrenton, it's going to be like on the south side of town. Is Truesdale out there near in about 11 minutes?
Steve, they've also just issued, I know you're zoomed in on
That one, this is a tornado warning for central Franklin, western St. Charles, northwestern St. Louis County, and southeastern Warren. The rotation about 6 miles southeast of Beaufort,
Yep.
8 miles west of St. Clair.
Well, no, that's one of them. And so I think what you're, oh, wow, there's another. Both areas of rotations are pretty intense right now. One is just northwest of New Haven. This one just intensified. This is the one that Kent was talking about. This is the one that was north of Sullivan. Let's switch over to the warnings, and what you'll notice is they expanded that warning. There's the red tornado box. They expanded that warning all the way into St. Louis County and St. Charles County. So sirens are going off. The emergency alert system, which is the cell phones, are blaring and going off. And that rotation is this hook echo right here. And it is rather strong. It may look small, it may look tiny, but it is rather strong right there north of, it's coming right at St. Clair. We told you, by the way, in that other one, the rotation's northwest of New Haven, not on New Haven proper. I just want to make sure that that's clear. If you're in New Haven, sure, stay in your shelter. Let that thing go to the north into Warren County. This one's coming at the Union to St. Clair area. And if I push it northeast, at about 55 to 60 miles per hour. I mean, it's kind of right in that Highway 47, not the 47 bridge up near Washington. This is much farther south, but in Franklin County, in between Union and St. Clair. That is a strong signature. Let me see what that looks like on the debris signature. Starting to get a little bit. Did they mention, Kristen, anything to confirm? I'm going to defer. I always defer to the Weather Service on.
You're referring to the
signatures.
tornado warning in St. Louis County?
It extends into St. Louis County, but the actual possible tornado is in Franklin County right now.
8 miles west of St. Clair,
Yeah.
moving northeast at 55.
That's it. Did they mention anything about debris?
Radar indicated rotation.
Okay, I have a feeling they're going to come out with something here shortly. I'll defer to them before. It can be complicated to know for sure if this is actually debris in the air and then thus confirming a tornado. But if I go back one scan, it's not there. If I go back another scan, it's there. And just started to see it along with a pretty intense couplet right there. Couplet is when you have these winds that are going really fast. The green is towards the radar, and the red is away. And so what's really happening is they're spinning right in that area. So this is, if you're in Sullivan, this has missed you. Well, remember, it hit north of Sullivan. If you're in Stanton, it has passed you now. And it's headed to the northeast. I want to say at like 55 to 60 miles per hour. We will put a track on that. The next 30 minutes, let's see who this is going to move over and make sure you're prepared. 55 to 60. We have it in Villa Ridge in just about 14 minutes, Gray Summit, less than 20 minutes. Then into the Pacific and Eureka area in about 20 to 30 minutes or so. Because I see that, that graphics on the bottom. Let me move that up. Okay, so there's St. Clair. This is going to miss St. Clair. It's going to come pretty close to especially the south side of Union. It just jumped. Did you see how it was there? It's now here. So let's get rid of that. And it's still strong. And it's going to split. It's going to come right at 47 in between St. Clair and Union. Still a pretty intense signature there, too. Let's see what the debris tracker is still. More intense on the debris tracker. In fact, I would not be surprised. I think they have. Let me check that out. Not that one. And not that one. Let me know if they come out with confirmed, radar confirmed, because I mean, I'm seeing debris out of this. And this is Franklin County coming right at 47. Let's zoom out a little bit and see some other areas of rotation, because we tracked that one through Union and into Villa Ridge, Pacific, and Eureka. Let's go up north to the one that was over New Haven. That one looks weaker.
I just want to mention Kevin out
Go.
of the National Weather Service office. Talking about the rotation north of New Haven, he is mentioning that it has weakened some,
Yep.
but they are still seeing some debris on radar, and that was as of 8:44, 1 minute ago.
Okay, so for our friends in Warrenton, especially south of town, we definitely still need to watch this. Weaker signature. Sometimes the tornado will lift debris into the air. That keeps blowing around, the radar sees it, but the actual tornado has dissipated, and it takes a couple minutes for the debris to float down to the ground and the debris signature to disappear. Let's see what that looks like. That debris signature, yeah, this was at 8:39. Right there, and you'll see it move up and kind of disappear. So that one's weakening. Remember, not over New Haven proper, really working this storm now into Warren County. Okay, so southern, southwestern Warren County. Weaker signature right over Pinckney. Gonna watch that move up to the northeast in the next several minutes and see if it strengthens its intensity. Let's go back south. Still seeing high intensity rotation right there in between Union and St. Clair. And then we've got some more tornado warnings a little farther south. Looks like this one here is going to come out of, I think that's Dent County, and into southern Crawford. This might be the third tornado warning for Crawford County. They had one up north, then another in the middle, and then here's this other one. And then that one goes into Washington County. So you might hear sirens going off in Potosi. Let me switch over to the Doppler winds. And we're seeing that rotation kind of north of Short Bend. This is south of Steelville. Steelville, this is going to miss you. You had one earlier that was really close, kind of in between you and Cuba. This one's much farther to the south, and that would be the one why the sirens are going off in Potosi. So let's keep an eye on that one for our friends down in southern Crawford and then into Washington County, maybe just northwest of Potosi in about 30 minutes. Zooming out a little bit, let's get the big picture because we've been zooming in. And they have, see that black box? They have confirmed that tornado that is in between Union and St. Clair. So they saw that debris. The others do not have the black boxes around them. It's just a way for me to visually see, okay, this is now radar confirmed. Remember, there's two things. There's radar indicated tornado, which means it indicates a tornado is possible. And then there's confirmed. And that's because the radar's actually seeing debris out of this. Jerry, where are we looking there? That's 44 near Eureka, and that's where this confirmed tornado is headed. So let's zoom in a little bit and get a better idea of where it is now, since it's moved, and where it's headed. The hook is right in here. But if I switch over to those Doppler winds that help me pinpoint, I mean, you can just see it much more clear. It's right there. If you're in Union and St. Clair, stay in your tornado safe shelter, especially if you're on the south side of Union and if you live on the north side of St. Clair. There it is right there. This is going to cross Highway 50 and head up to the northeast. Let's see some of the cities in the path of that storm. I'm going to push it down to the corner here so I can get a 45-minute track on this at, let's say, 55 to, let's go 60 miles an hour. So Villa Ridge now down to 7 minutes and Gray Summit on 11. The Pacific to Eureka area is about 15 to 20 minutes. But if you look at that trajectory, if I just take that to the northeast, it's probably going to be that north side, kind of near the high school and maybe just to the north. Then you go a little farther to the northeast. You get kind of the south side, not Chesterfield Valley, but south side Chesterfield. Eventually in towards Kirkwood. St. Charles, 38 minutes, that would be way up north. I don't think we're going to get there. Of course, this thing fans out because the farther out you go, the more air there is in the path. But if you just take that kind of central trajectory there, that cuts right into, that would be like Town and Country at 270 and Highway 40, Interstate 64. In fact, the timing on that in particular, just 270, and Highway 40, Interstate 64 would be about 32 minutes. Hopefully that gives you a good idea of the timing on a radar confirmed, meaning radar has seen debris in the air, tornado that's right now in between Union and St. Clair. Zooming out. Yep. Kristen's got something.
Is my audio up? Can you hear me?
Yep.
Our friends at the Weather Service office are saying that debris is up to about 5,000 feet, Steve, and I apologize if you've already said that, but okay.
No, I haven't. Thank you. The higher the debris, typically the stronger the tornado. Kind of depends on the debris. Sometimes you have lightweight debris that'll fly higher, but I mean, that thing is still there. So this is a debris signature. This is a tornado on the ground, and it's just on the south side of Union. I'm backing up in time. That's about where we at least start seeing the debris signature right there, okay? And then that's the trajectory it's on. And you're gonna look at a MoDOT camera from Highway 50 in Union, and it's pretty much gonna cross 50 just east of Union, and then look at the trajectory where it's going, towards Gray Summit. So let's go back to where it is now. There it is now. And Gray Summit, we're talking about 9 minutes. So definitely be in your tornado safe shelter, as this is a debris signature. It means the tornado's lifting debris. The reason the radar can do that is it's dual pole. That's a new thing that came out years ago, but it really helped advance Doppler radar technology to where you could actually see not just one slice through the atmosphere, but you could kind of see up and down, so you can see the shapes. So what it's seeing is, instead of bunch of raindrops and some hail that are all about the same shapes, it's seeing like oblong objects like tree branches or trees that are in the air, leaves, roof tiles maybe, and other debris. And so it says, hey, there's stuff in the air and none of it matches. That's why technically we call it correlation coefficient. To correlate means match. It doesn't match. And because it doesn't match, the radar is actually seeing debris in the air. And it's a brilliant advent of radar technology that helps us confirm a tornado. Even though the signature when you look at the typical radars, kind of muddy, to be honest with you. But the hook is right there, south side of Union. And what are we looking at? That's Eureka from the Ford Skycam. That's Most Sacred Heart Church. In a way, good news that at 8:53 at night, as this approaches churches in St. Louis, fish fries are probably done with, and we hope everyone is at home watching, staying weather alert, and then ready when I start mentioning your town to take shelter. So Gray Summit, you need to be taking shelter. One of the reasons why this, I'm going to highlight where the rotation is, right here in Union. Stay in your shelter, Union and St. Clair. You're not in the all clear yet. One of the reasons why this is a big tornado box, I mean, it goes all the way to St. Charles here, is this thing's moving so quickly. So let's check out the path that it would take and then the timing. So if it's going to go on this path, it's probably just on the north side of Eureka towards Wildwood in maybe 20 minutes. Chesterfield, not really the Chesterfield Valley, but maybe just south and east of the valley. And then eventually, you know, this is pretty close to, actually, if I go like that, that's probably right over the valley right there. Let me zoom in. That's pretty close, yeah, 26 minutes, Chesterfield Valley. Let's zoom back out and take that all the way to St. Charles. That assumes kind of that northeast trajectory. It's going to be very near St. Charles, Earth City, kind of near Maryland Heights, Planet Hollywood Casino area in about 30 to 35 minutes. And this is confirmed. This is the one that's confirmed on the ground. Looks like they just issued another observed tornado warning too. And you know what it is? It's just a delay, guys. That's all that was. Is the confirmed came across. It just came across delayed. Let me zoom in and show you. This particular tornado warning has 517,000 people. So as I zoom in, we're focused on rotation right here, about to cross 44 and Highway 50 junction, just east of Union now. If you're in Union, just give it another beat, another minute or two, but you're pretty much in the clear. This has kind of hit the south and southeast side of town. There's probably going to be some damage. Well, we know there's debris lofted. We just don't know how bad the damage is. Is it trees or is it shingles and houses? So we know it's right there, and we know there's 517,000 people just in this tornado warning. Franklin, St. Charles, St. Louis, and Warren counties. You see how it says observed? It wasn't observed by a person. It was observed by radar. So we know that from the debris tracker. Okay, so 500,000 people. Here we are at 9 in the evening. We've got 4 million people on a tornado watch, and we've got 500,000 in just one tornado warning that we've been tracking here. We've got another tornado warning here, and that's the one that was near New Haven. And I want to just double check and see if things have strengthened on that one. So if you're in Warren County, near Warrenton, you may have heard the sirens go off. There was a weaker signature, but still something we need to track, and it is weak. I don't really see significant rotation there. Let me back it up and show you where it was pretty strong. That's where it was. This was at 8:41 earlier. That was that rotation near New Haven. It wasn't on New Haven, it was just on the northwest side of town. And now that rotation has shrunk away. We don't have that tight green and red together that we call a couplet. Good news there for our friends in Warren County. Still need to monitor it. Let me just switch to see if, sometimes you can get a hook echo, but you don't actually have the Doppler winds showing rotation. And the hook echo means, hey, something is rotating and happening. You need to monitor this, but I don't see that there. So that's good news for Warren County. It's also good news for that northwestern corner of St. Charles County, like downstream from this and up into Lincoln. But let's monitor it. It's right here. Okay, so that's now east of Warrenton. So Warrenton, you're in the clear from that storm. And then let me just back out and let me get rid of some of these warnings. Here's the big picture. Once you get on the back side of this line, you're in the clear. The one exception I want to kind of point out is notice down here, you have a storm hit, it moves on. Look how there's another one coming. These are training. So this section of the storm down here, you have to really get on the back side, and it might take a while. But some areas are going to get hit multiple times down here. But like, for instance, in Warren County, your severe threat's pretty much done now. Well, not Warren County, sorry, Warrenton. In eastern Warren County, you're still dealing with a threat that I need to monitor. But I mean, there's that storm I'm monitoring. There's Warrenton. Boom. Severe threat's done. Kristen's got some new information. Go ahead, Kristen.
There is a new circulation to the southeast of the one you were looking at around Union. So basically the Union one's kind of getting choked off. A new one's developed on the southeast side.
Okay.
And they're getting ready to issue a new tornado warning on that one south of Villa Ridge, also for the Gray Summit area.
Yep, I see it. And it's strong. It is strong. Thank you so much. Yep. So this is going to, in fact, I wouldn't be surprised if this one has debris in the air too. If it doesn't, it might soon. Okay, let's switch back over to the Doppler winds. It doesn't at this point, but man, that's a strong signature. So what Kristen just drew our attention to is this is a new rotation, area of rotation. So we had one that was coming up this direction, and it looks like it's fizzled out. If I go back in time a little bit, you'll be able to see that right there. And the new one is confirmed. Yes. Okay, so this one was confirmed. Watch how quickly it fizzles out in a matter of a couple scans, which is what, 4 minutes or so? And then, see this bright green right here? That's gonna turn into, it's almost like they merged a little bit. So there it is, the new area of rotation coming right at Gray Summit. Bottom line is, if you're in Gray Summit, we warned you about 15 minutes ago, be in your tornado shelter, maybe even more than that. And in fact, guys, I think they've got a considerable tag on this. Okay, so let me get to that. The Weather Service can put certain tags on a tornado and let you know, like, this is a higher end threat. And this one's observed, and the tornado damage threat is considerable. So that means they think this is a higher end tornado potential, and that's kind of what we were telling you going into today, that we had the higher end tornado potential coming right at Gray Summit. This is going to move from south side of Villa Ridge now, crossing 44 and just about, well, it's kind of crisscrossing 44. It's south side of Villa Ridge right now. You need to be in your tornado shelter. Same thing with Gray Summit. There's 44. There's 44 again, just west of Pacific. That is an intense signature. And while we didn't see anything from this kind of new flared up rotation on the debris tracker, I'll bet something's going to show up pretty soon. There it is. So this is debris flying in the air because of the tornado. So this is a tornado on the ground down 44 southwest of St. Louis into Franklin County, and it's coming at St. Louis County. Timing on this northwest of Pacific. I'm going to get away from the debris tracker actually and just focus on where that rotation is, because remember the rotation kind of was like up here, and now the new one came down here. So I want to focus on the most recent area of rotation that can do some damage, and probably is going to. Pacific, about 5 minutes, Eureka, in about 10 minutes. And if it goes on that northeast trajectory, it's especially going to be like near the high school.
Office is what it's going to do.
Let's see here. That's going to be just a little south of there.
5.
And moving northeast at what?
55.
55.
They're talking about evacuating the office.
And that's Kirkwood in about 20 minutes. Not from that one. Let's see here. Yeah, if they're going to evacuate the office, that's a little farther south. I'm assuming they're monitoring it and getting ready. Yeah. But there's the rotation, Gray Summit, Villa Ridge now. There's the office. It's right near the Weather Service radar.
They're talking about the debris ball.
And what they're talking about is that debris signature. And you could probably, if I zoom in, maybe see a little, yep, right there. There's the debris ball. So what's happening here is, here's the tornado. It's throwing up so much debris that the radar's pinging off of it and thinking it's really heavy rain or hail, but it's actually just debris from the tornado that has hit Villa Ridge and is now to the northeast, hitting Gray Summit. Headed north, this is Interstate 44, and kind of following Highway 100 right here up into what eventually will be St. Louis County. I just want to do a cross section here on this and see if I can see the bounded weak echo region. Not really seeing. No, not seeing that. Okay, but there is a debris ball there, and so this is a signature on radar. There's just higher end that we've got a tornado on the ground, throwing debris in the air. Debris tracker is going to light up. There it is. I'm going to have to kind of tilt up a little bit so you can see it, but that is it. And that's a strong debris signature. So we have a tornado debris signature right over Gray Summit. And
Diamonds. Sorry, Kristen, go ahead.
A warning near Wentzville.
so new tornado warning near Wentzville. I just want to point out that that tornado debris signature was here, but now the rotation's here. This is what we were talking about, how it kind of shifted, okay? So didn't shift by much, but boy, it's right around that Villa Ridge and Gray Summit area. Wentzville area, new tornado warning, it's got to be right here, just on the northwest side. Let me switch over to the warnings and see what we've got there. Yeah, that's it. So if you're in Wentzville and you just heard tornado warning Wentzville, you're in the warning. The rotation is just up 61 here.
They're saying that's moving east at 45.
What? What's moving east?
The Wentzville tornado.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's just slow it down and coming in. They just got it. Oh, there it goes. Right there. It's crossing 61 right now. It's probably moving east-northeast.
Yeah.
And you can tell that because of the way they drew the, what we call polygon. So that's the red box that represents the warning. See how it's angled this way? So it is not moving this way. It's moving more northeast. I don't know why it said east, but bottom line is we see it. It's just north of Wentzville, crossing 61, new tornado warning. And that is going to, in about 20 minutes, get out of that area. So let me see some of the cities in the path, because just in the next 20 minutes, it's probably going to be out of that box, the tornado box. So we've got it into Old Monroe in about 8 minutes, Brussels in about 16 minutes, Grafton in about 25 minutes. Again, the rotation right here. And I'm using these Christmas colors because it helps me pinpoint these rotations for you. Let me highlight that with a circle. If you're in Wentzville, you're hearing sirens, yes, go ahead, be down in your tornado shelter, especially if you live on the north side of town. If you're in Troy, you're hearing it too. It's the south side of town that we have that rotation. If you're in O'Fallon, it's not near 70. It's farther north that this is going to track, okay? So probably even near or north of St. Paul in northern St. Charles County. Then we've got this one down here that looks like it is now north of 44. Boy, this one,
Yeah.
you can really see how it was tracking. Let's see, it was tracking right here, and then all of a sudden it skipped, and a new one flared up right there. Kind of similar trajectories, and towns that we've been warning. So there was the trajectory on it, and then all of a sudden this is the new one. Look how quickly that happened. So that's the new one there. Where is that going next? Let's zoom in on that. Guys, will you let me know if anything south flares up? I'm going to focus
Yes.
on these two for now. The one that's north of Wentzville and the one that is north of Pacific and coming right into St. Louis County very shortly.
They
here.
are mentioning the expansive debris field north of Gray Summit.
Okay, so it's right there headed towards Wildwood in just a few minutes. Be about 5 minutes into Wildwood, be about 10 to 12 minutes into Chesterfield, and this would be into Maryland Heights around 19 minutes. Did you hear that? Maryland Heights about 19 minutes.
In case.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, so we've got the Eureka Ford Skycam network there. It's looking to the west. And you mentioned, Kristen mentioned the expansive debris field.
A little flash of lightning may have outlined something. It was very, yeah.
Thank you guys for catching that. I missed it. I was looking at the debris tracker
To wait
here.
for the lightning flash.
See this right there? That's the debris. So that's when Kristen said the Weather Service was mentioning an expansive debris field. That's it. And notice that's Wildwood right there, and that's the debris. So this thing's on the ground, As far as we know right now, it's still on the ground and headed right into Wildwood. So what do? Be inside, away from windows, down in the basement. If you don't have a basement, lowest level. You're going to put as many walls between you and the outside and stay away from windows. You know, this may end up doing damage, and we have an environment where these storms may do considerable damage, perhaps even take a roof off the house. What we need to really focus in on right now is protecting people. So if you know of someone that's in Wildwood or some of these towns I'm mentioning and saying, hey, this is a confirmed tornado, this is a debris signature, it's headed to this town, give them a text, give them a call. The last thing I want is someone who just wasn't paying attention, they unplugged from weather, they think it's an ordinary storm, they didn't realize that this is a higher end threat for higher end tornadoes and damaging winds, and make sure that they take shelter, friends
Steve,
or family. Yep.
We have a situation where that what was the Gray Summit cell is kind of getting choked off, and another cell is developing on the south side yet again. So
okay.
It looks like we have a new circulation just north of Pacific, kind of southeast of the other circulation.
That's the one we're tracking. Yep.
Okay.
Yep, we got that. So it's right there, north of Pacific, and that's the one I was just telling you coming into Wildwood. And then I just want to zoom up here and take a closer look at that one that was north of Wentzville. Looks like it is still crossing 61. So it's right here. Old Monroe, we mentioned in about 8 minutes. Let's see where you're at now. So there's Old Monroe, about 7 to 8 minutes still. I think it's going to jump pretty quickly here. So let's call it in about 5 minutes, Old Monroe. Let's get a track on both of those. I'm going to highlight them. And guys, I'm focusing on these two, but please do me a favor, and if anything flares up south there,
Yeah, we've got that up back here.
yeah, let me know. I didn't see anything real significant out of that other tornado warning. So moving to the northeast from the one that's in north of Wentzville coming into southern Lincoln County. And I've got that into Old Monroe, yep, 8 minutes, Grafton 25, Jerseyville in about 34 minutes. Get you a longer term track on that. Let's get rid of that track. So there's one tornado, possible tornado. There's likely a tornado out of this one that I'm about to track right into St. Louis County. We mentioned getting into Wildwood, where you should be in the basement. 6 minutes Wildwood, Kirkwood, about 20 minutes. Guys, we got a considerable tag coming out. Let me know which tornado that's on, okay? So that's, it just...
Not seeing any new warnings yet.
But you know what? It may be my system getting those delayed things. But that's, let's see here. Continues the tornado warning for a considerable in St. Louis, St. Charles, and Franklin. That's the one I'm tracking right here. Considerable just means higher end, potential for significant damage. And that's the cities that these are, it's going to hit. Chesterfield in about 13 minutes, Webster Groves in about 22 minutes, U-City in about 25 minutes. There's the city in about a half hour. And that's this one right here. It looks like it just jumped. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to clear this, and I want to go look at that signature. So let's clear that and see what it looks like now as we zoom in. It's probably in Wildwood by now. And I'm also going to switch radar. That's real tight right there. It's coming right at Wildwood. So if you're down in the basement of Wildwood, you're doing the right thing. One of the things, whether it's Wildwood or Chesterfield, Baldwin, some of these cities that I'm mentioning, one of the things you can do is get our First Alert 4 weather app and get our live stream. We're on it right now. So you may be watching on TV right now, but you don't realize we're on the live stream. If you lose power, you can get the play-by-play on the tornado on your tablet and on your phone. And on our First Alert 4 weather app, you scroll down to this. It's on right now. Click that, and you're going to get this, the play-by-play. So let's get back to it. I just want to make sure you know that, you know, if you feel like you got disconnected, it can be really scary because you don't know what's going on. But we're there for you if you have that phone or tablet, and you can stay connected. Hold on one second. I just need a little water here, guys. Sorry.
Power's out of my house in Wildwood. Sirens are going off, and
Kevin at the National Weather Service office just chimed in. Tornado remains on the ground west of Wildwood and moving to the northeast.
That's it.
yeah.
That's it, moving to the northeast, right? So it's going to cross 109 north of 100. So it's going to cross 109 probably in a matter of a few minutes. Wildwood, stay in your tornado shelter. If you are in Gray Summit, Villa Ridge, you're in the clear. You're in the clear from this tornado. You're getting hit with heavy rain, lightning. If you're in Eureka, stay in your shelter because this is some pretty strong straight line winds. But if you follow that up to right here, that's where the storm is rotating, and that's where the tornado is coming right at Wildwood and eventually to Chesterfield. And earlier it looked like it might just miss the Chesterfield Valley like to the south, but now it looks like it's going to be a really close call. Now I'm going to switch over to the what we call terminal Doppler. It's a radar out of the airport and not showing me any data. That's interesting. You know what? Terminal radar might be down. It is. So I'm going to just have to stick with this as the rain sits right on top of our Weather Service radar out here in Weldon Spring. And it may not get as good data until some of this rain kind of passes by. But I still know exactly where that rotation is, so don't worry. I know exactly what's going on and where that rotation is. It's coming right at Wildwood. We're going to see this update very shortly, and we're going to have a tornado that's on the ground crossing, is that Olive? 340, yeah, that's Olive. Actually, I think that's Clarkson, yeah. North of 40, it's Olive, right? And then south of 40, it's Clarkson Road. So that's going to cross Clarkson in 7 minutes, okay? So it's crossing 109 in about, and this image is going to jump. So I'm just going to kind of estimate maybe 2 to 5 minutes, and then probably in 4 to 7 minutes crossing Clarkson there in western St. Louis County. Let's zoom in a little bit more and get you some kind of street level mapping here as we zoom in towards Wildwood. So that rotation was right around St. Albans Road. I say was because I think this is going to update in a second and jump. St. Albans Road, just west of 100. And when it jumps, it's probably going to be right on 109, just north and northeast of Wildwood when it does update. And I say I'm talking about this specifically. That's basically a signature on radar telling me exactly where the tornado is. When it does update, I think it'll jump a little farther to the northeast, and we'll have refreshed data there. Switching over to the radar with the warnings, you're going to see the black box represents the confirmed. That's because this is confirmed by debris tracker, and earlier had a debris ball. It doesn't look like the debris ball's there as much anymore. The debris tracker, I can still see it. Yeah, it is right here. So let me loop this for you, and I'm going to do like a slower loop. Just slow it down, go very slow, play. Right there, we're gonna follow it back. So this is the one that came out of the south side of Union, and there it is producing debris on our debris tracker right around Wildwood. It's getting a little messy now, getting near the radar, but we can still see it right there. And that's exactly what, when we talk about our chat with the National Weather Service, that exactly what we're seeing is tornadoes still on the ground. And it's still a really tight signature there. That bright green, what that represents is winds that are going right up towards the radar there, and the red is raindrops that are coming away. And what's really happening is right in that area, this thing is rotating. That's gonna update here shortly. There's another view of it too from a different type of product. What I do when I look at this, it actually takes the forward momentum of the storm out. So it kind of takes the speed this way out so you can actually see the rotation better. And it's highlighted very easily right there, and we'll continue to move northeast. All right, so we mentioned some of the cities in the path of that storm. Let's zoom back up to the one in Wentzville. That was north of Wentzville. It's not in Wentzville, it was north of Wentzville. And it looks like it's kind of just west of Old Monroe by now. So there's where it was. I have to go back and forth so I can see it because it's not a real strong signature. There it is at 9:03, 15 minutes ago. And it's weaker right here. So if you're in Old Monroe, stay in your shelter, still in that tornado warning, but definitely a weaker signature. Let this thing pass, and hopefully it doesn't strengthen anymore. the tornado warning for Calhoun, Jersey, and Lincoln and St. Charles County, and just came out. So what that means is the one I was just telling you about that looks like it's a little weaker, they've actually expanded it into Illinois now. So we're going to have to continue to monitor that and see if that flares up a little bit more. But I think, let's see, Old Monroe. Look at that. So there was the data we were looking at. Here's the new data. It'll be right there. So they just saw this flare up. So the data I was just judging on was this, looked much weaker. This thing moves here and all of a sudden intensifies rotation. That's what you're seeing right there. And that's why they just expanded that tornado warning. So we've got some folks on the Illinois side. I think this is the first Illinois counties that are going to start hearing sirens. It just barely goes into Jersey County right here. And it doesn't go into Jerseyville yet. We'll monitor it. And it's going to be northeast of Old Monroe. You're in the clear now. Totally in the clear. Yes.
You mentioned you wanted me to kind of monitor what was going on to the south. I just want to mention, because the Weather Service is highlighting two very dangerous storms moving into the metro area. Of course, you were just talking about the one that went through Wildwood, but they're also highlighting the one near Hillsborough down in Jefferson County. So you might, when you get a chance.
Cedar Hill south there, yeah.
Yeah, thank you guys. So in the past, let's see, that's 9:10, 9 minutes. In fact, really less than that. There's one scan. In the past 3 minutes, that thing just intensified right here. And thank you. That's exactly why it takes a team. You got to monitor these things. I mean, in 3 minutes and one scan, all of a sudden, it can start to flare up. Let me see if that hook is matching. It is. It's matching exactly where it is. You can see the hook echo south of Cedar Hill. It's right here. See that little hook right there? So this thing just flared up in intensity in the past about 3 minutes. Thank you to Kristen and Kemp.
They're calling it tornado imminent now, just south of Cedar Hill Lakes.
So what they're seeing is the signature is intensifying so rapidly that they're probably confident that this might end up being a confirmed tornado based on the radar signature. They're not there yet. That's why this red box is just red. It doesn't have the black around it. This one has the black around it because it's confirmed. We've seen debris in the air, and that's the one that's hitting the Wildwood area. Wildwood, I'm going to check in on you in a second. I just want to get a track on this. And if you're in Clarkson Valley area, if you're Chesterfield area, I'm going to get you too. Let's get this going through Jefferson County at about 55 to 60 miles an hour. This one looks like more northeast and getting into Barnard in about 15 minutes. Oakville in about 24 minutes. Waterloo, Illinois in about 28 minutes. Again, right there, that little hook, that little knob or nub that just came out of the storm is actually the winds rotating around, and it's pushing the rain in that little nub out ahead of the main line of storms. So that's why this is linear, because it's just winds moving this way. This is rotation. So the rotation is actually pushing the rain out and then back in right there. So that little hook right there indicates exactly where that rotation is. Thank you guys for catching that. And I appreciate the team. So we have 3 areas of rotation. One that's coming into Calhoun County, one that is moving out probably pretty soon here of Wildwood that I need to check in on, and another one farther south. Let's see for that one. I don't see any significant rotation on this one south, but let's keep an eye on this northwest of Potosi. Just like the one that's near Cedar Hill, this thing can flare up, but it's not real significant right now. But you are in a tornado warning in Washington County. And it's for this storm right here. So we'll see if this tightens up. Kent and Kristen, keep an eye on that in Washington County for me, just like you did for the one in Jefferson County. Let's zoom back up into the Chesterfield area and see where this rotation is now. I'm gonna have to go back in time a little bit just to get my eyes on it. There it is in Wildwood. There it is, right there. A little weaker. Good news, friends. This is a little weaker. Still a tornado, potential for this to still be on the ground, but I'm definitely thinking this is weakening, broadening, and this might be a situation where it goes through a cycle where it weakens and strengthens. So let's not give up on this, and let's make sure we continue to track it right across Clarkson. I'll highlight it for you right here. That's where it is now. If you're in Wildwood, you're in the clear. Eureka's in the clear. If you're in Baldwin, you're probably in the tornado warning. Let me double check. And you are, the rotation is just north of you, crossing Clarkson. I would stay in your tornado shelter for just a few more minutes. You're getting hit with the heavy rain. If you're in Chesterfield, stay in your tornado shelter especially. And then this extends a little farther towards Creve Coeur even. Let's zoom in, and I'm going to switch back over to the Doppler winds, highlight for you where it is, and then zoom in, do some street level mapping here.
Steve.
Yes.
New tornado imminent southeast of Chesterfield, would likely head into the Maryland Heights area.
That's got to be this. And so that's Wild Horse Creek Road and Kerrs Mill right now. This is the one that's going to head up to Highway 40 and Clarkson here, turns into Olive as you get north of Interstate 64, Highway 40. And just going to be a crossing Highway 40 in a matter of minutes, a matter of a minute maybe. Let's move this to the northeast. And it's Chesterfield Parkway and Highway 40 Interstate 64 in about 1 minute. So Wild Horse Creek Road and Kerrs Mill area right now. And then just in 1 minute crossing 40. Where does it go after that? It's going to kind of ride, as long as it goes more northeast. Let's just back it up and see that trajectory from Wildwood. It was right here. Yeah, it's still on that northeast. That draws it right up into Maryland Heights. This is our Ford Skycam network from Missouri Baptist Medical Center in Town and Country. Just sheets of rain coming down. This, you know, guys, well, let's make sure we got our 360 at Westport Plaza camera pointed to the southwest. And go ahead, Kristen.
We're not hearing you.
Yeah, we don't hear. Kristen's got some.
I'm trying to say we're, of course, in Maryland Heights, Steve. So if at some point we need to let our folks in the newsroom know they need to head downstairs.
They know.
They know. Okay.
They may already be downstairs in the lifestyle studio right now.
Yeah, we're set up to go live down there if we have to.
All right.
Yep. So we are in Maryland Heights, by the way, and